this computer. Welcome back to another episode of the GTR Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Payton, and this is Alex as the co-host. Alex can introduce himself. What am I doing?
Yeah, what's up? No, I'm back. Uh, I don't know how Dan's still putting up with me, but anyway, currently we are recording this at uh for me it's the 10th of February 2023. For you, it is the 11th of February 2023. It's 11:47 p.m. for me. So
We're just to put it in
yeah,
perspective. We're
pre
recording it after the Milwaukee game and Clippers game is ending, so
no,
around that time.
yeah, we got all that. Derek White just dropped 33 and 10. Uh,
Jalen Duran, 30 and
Jalen Duran did
17.
amazing.
Ah,
But obviously we're not going to talk too much about that. That might be later if we have time. Um,
this is that
we
trade
might end up
deadline. Go ahead.
going into that. We just had potentially the greatest trade deadline. Actually, in my opinion, the greatest trade deadline of all time.
The greatest one I've
Obviously,
been able to see. The greatest
like
one I've seen.
yeah, because honestly, I at first was hesitant to say that because I've been like watching the NBA for a crazy amount of time, but it, trade
It is.
deadlines haven't been crazy.
Let me.
Really,
Hmm. This
like
is the
they've never
best
really
trailer. Go ahead.
like trade deadlines only really started to become like a big deal, like a big deal, like a few years. Like I say a few years ago, like 9 or so years ago, 10 or so years ago. So like obviously you can point out outliers, but still. Um. Anyway, we are going to be going through every single trade. If you want, we can rate them out of 10 for each team.
Yeah, I do. Um,
Um,
I was thinking before because when he was speaking about like the trade deadline in the past, this is the best trade deadline, as in the like the two stars got traded. Of course, you know who they are, but we'll go over that, of course. But the magnitude of how much this trade line shifted, like the league and trades moving on after that trade, was the biggest in like for the past 10 plus years because a superstar got moved and a star player got moved. So that
Several did.
and like
Well,
that is a lot to I haven't seen one like this. And I've been watching basketball for a minute. And I haven't seen one like this that shook the league. Like that move shook the league when it happened.
yeah,
Um,
a lot of them did.
yeah.
So anyway, just quick housekeeping to go through. I've made the executive decision to can the Sacramento Kings one. I just can't write it, get enough down for it. And so instead I'm gonna do quick foreshadowing, by the way. I'm gonna do one on the Portland Trailblazers and the New York Knicks.
Next one's gonna be something. The Knicks are gonna be good because they made a trade, and that trade I really
Yeah,
like that trade for them. But
yeah. So anyway, we got let's just get started with some one of the biggest trades that happened. Not one of the biggest trade that happened. I believe this was this the night after we recorded the last pod?
after it got uploaded, yes, yep, yep,
Okay.
yep, yep.
Well, Kevin Durant got traded to the Phoenix Suns. That was a good morning to you, Alex. Um, anyway, just go through full trade details. It was Kevin Durant and TJ Warren, which they said salary filler. TJ Warren's a great piece. for Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, who ended up didn't Jay
It's
Crowder end up
It got
in
shipped off to
Milwaukee?
Milwaukee for 5
Yeah,
seconds, but we'll go into that.
yeah. 4 first round picks, 2023, 25, 27, and 29, and a 2028 pick swap, first round pick swap.
You want to go first?
Bet.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I read that and like I was half asleep, so I was still like almost in disbelief. Like I was too asleep to fully process the magnitude of it. And then like once I fully woke up, I'm like, Kevin effing Durant just got traded. We don't see players of
MVP
Kevin
caliber.
Durant's ability get traded on the trade deadline. Let alone we don't see players of Kevin Durant's talent get traded ever.
You don't see somebody who's coming off an MVP, no, who were when healthy was an MVP candidate, was a championship contender, gets traded just like that in the middle of the night. Everybody's asleep. Luckily, I wasn't. I saw it, and I Twitter crashed when Kevin Durant got traded. It was about. You think I'm joking? It was 1:30 in the morning.
No, I know you weren't joking.
Kevin Durant got traded at 1:32. Twitter crashed for 20 minutes. Came back up. Everybody, you just refresh the timeline. It's Kevin Durant traded. Kevin Durant traded. Kevin Durant traded. Kevin Durant. Son super team. Son super. Man, it shook it. And what I can say about this is, great job, Brooklyn. Great job, Phoenix. Both teams won. People can say Phoenix fleeced the Nets. The Nets didn't do. Both teams won. You want to go into it, or you and me finish?
Go ahead.
Why the Phoenix Suns won? Because you got Kevin Durant, of course, and then you got a good backup. You got a good backup, and they really just traded. When you're thinking about like this, don't think about the picks right now. If we just talking player, the Suns got the best player, and then the Nets got two very, very good players. Like good players. It's hard to get a better deal than that. And then you had the picks and it's looking like, okay, it was fair because think about it like this. And people saying the Suns gave up too much and lost their bench. They didn't. Mikal Bridges and Mikal Bridges and Jay. I said Jay. Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson is the
There you
Mikal Bridges
go.
and Cam Johnson, great players. They're not Kevin Durant. Mikal is a good two-way player. Showed some ability to get some better, more shot creating, get into the line more this season. Okay, Phoenix, you trade high. You got this new owner who said, I don't care about our future assets. I don't care about draft capital. When he came in, he just made a bang trade just like that. And then Cam Johnson came in, three-point shooter, solid defender. His defense gets overrated at times, but he's a solid defender. And then people saying, you gave up Jake Crowder. Jake Crowder's not playing for them at all anyway, so you didn't give up Jake. You gave up two players for two, and then you just gave up the picks. You get to reset. You get to choose whatever you want to do if you're Brooklyn. You get to reset, or you can try to build from there. And if you're Phoenix, you just got an MVP caliber player inserted without giving up Ayton, Chris Paul, Devin Booker. You didn't give up
Yeah.
any of those players.
And I think for me, that was the most impressive part, that they didn't get rid of Ayton, Chris Paul, or Devin Booker. I mean, obviously, if you're going to make a KD trade, I mean, you'd probably give up Devin Booker, but ideally you don't. But they didn't have to get rid of either of those three. And I would argue that I could argue that Ayton and Mikal Bridges are on the same level, but just as like I'm just impressed that they didn't have to trade either of those three. Of course, Suns are a winner. If you get a chance to acquire Kevin Durant for 15, like not screwing yourself completely, you gotta do it. And hey, and for Brooklyn, well, one, I'm just fascinated by the fact that within 72 hours, they went from pretty much a real contender once when fully healthy, I'll be honest, to in
Solid
rebuild
team.
mode.
I ain't gonna say rebuild though. They're solid. That team is gonna give
Yeah, they're
you
solid. The only reason why they're not in rebuild, like tank mode, rebuild mode, is because they don't have their picks. Because the Harden trade.
right. And I wanna shout out to the Nets organization. They caught a lot of slack for doing this trade, but I'm the Nets. It's my organization to do whatever I want. I think who's their owner for? And Sean Marks is the owner. Sean Marks is an owner. Joe is the GM, if I'm not wrong, or it might be the other way around. It might be
I think it's the other way around, but I'm not 100% sure.
either or. You did what you felt like was right. Um, I'm gonna talk on the Kyrie real quick because I want to spend time on that because we already did. But Kyrie didn't play for y'all. He didn't give what he wanted. You just gave Kyrie whatever. Kevin Durant played for y'all. He gave y'all best every time he was out there, and you traded to a team that he wanted to go to. One of his teams in the destinations last season. He said Miami, Phoenix was one of his teams to go to last season, off season. You did him a solid. So all this slack that you're catching as Brooklyn, even though it kind of went off in turmoil, you see that hey, if I go to Brooklyn and I play well, they might trade me to the team that I wanted to go to because I guarantee you, and that Suns trade is a great trade. It's a good trade, not a great trade. It's a good trade. I guarantee you, other people, the Grizzlies are going to give them all their picks. They just want like it was other teams making deals,
Yeah, like
probably better, but
obviously you're not winning if you're trading away Kevin Durant, but they put themselves in a spot where they're not. Like they still got a decent enough return. Um and I just think like quick thing. In retrospect, I think that trade makes the Rudy Gobert trade seem even more hilarious.
yes, I get
So
lit, man,
that was yeah.
man. But it's for me. If I had to rate the trade from both teams, the Suns get a 10 out of 10. Super either
One
MVP caliber player, um, and you
one
don't
million percent.
and
Sorry.
you don't give up any of your starters except for Mikal Bridges. And then you still keep your depth. You still keep your depth. Of course, the
Yeah.
picks, but we don't care
And
about the
they
picks.
like obviously they don't have a crazy amount of depth, but it's enough to where it's like it's not crazy,
You don't think
but
so?
no,
Torrey Craig, T.J. Warren, Cameron Payne, um, and Bismack Biyombo. That's pretty solid depth. That's solid depth.
they don't play Bismack. They play Jock Landale,
Jock
but
Landale. That's solid depth.
like it's okay, and it's when you have it is a super team that is the best depth you can possibly have.
And that I really feel like that's good depth. Like that's very good for
Like
real, for real.
that's as much as you need to win a championship. And I said immediately after that trade happened, I'm like, Suns are winning the championship, and I don't think there's
It's the Suns championships to lose.
it is there, yeah, at this point now it's theirs to lose. I typically talk about like how trade deadline trades don't typically impact um that season, like the championship of the season the trade is made, but typically the season after. Obviously, uh the Raptors trading for which Gasol was it? I don't remember.
Mark,
In 2019,
Mark.
Mark? Yeah, Marc Gasol in 2019. Obviously, that made a difference, but for the most part, it doesn't influence that much
Right.
the season of. This is could not be further from the truth because they already have a great a great team around KD. The reason why I said that for Kyrie is because, yes, of course, it's Kyrie, Luka, Christian Wood if they don't trade him in the offseason or something. But around that, there's some obvious holes. In the Suns roster,
So
I don't think I can name a gap in that lineup. The only thing that really I think can hurt them is like if they mesh terribly somehow
they won't.
or injuries, which I wouldn't put injuries beyond them because Booker just missed a lot of time, but I think he doesn't typically miss time.
Mm.
Chris Paul gets injured a lot. KD 2 years in a row now has been injured.
Kind of iffy. KD's kind of iffy,
But even then, it's like
you got Kevin Durant. That doesn't matter.
if that is your biggest challenge, then you are in an amazing position.
And what people don't realize is the Suns did mortgage their future. Like you can say they mortgaged their future.
Like
They didn't because Kevin Durant's under contract for 3 years.
Yeah, well,
And you still got Booker, and you still got Book, and you still got Aiden. You did not mortgage
and
your
you're
future.
not. And as long as Devin Booker is on your team, you are not going to be an abysmal team.
And as long as you still got Kevin Durant for 3 more years.
Well, Kevin Durant's getting older, and of course those picks go through 2029. But Booker, there's a chance he's on that team still.
Okay, how old is Kevin Durant?
34.
34. How long do you think he can stay at this scoring level? Efficiency?
Until the end of this level, I think like next season or the season after.
So you think he got 2 more years of elite scoring?
Like this year, next year, maybe the year after. Maybe. Elite. Like when I say elite, I mean like this level. I think he'll drop off a bit in the last year of this contract. Yeah. I'll be honest, but
the last year
it'll still be good.
Last year, what I mean elite is, I don't think Kevin Durant will ever average under 25.
I think until he's like really close to retirement.
Then at that point,
he might retire before that happens.
He'll be going right. You feel me? So if I'm getting 25 minimum from KD on okay efficiency, I think when he start dropping off and start, declining, it's gonna be okay efficiency. It's not gonna be this wonderful. It's not gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be okay efficiency. People don't want to say it. He's gonna move like LeBron. He's gonna move like LeBron, as in like he's still. We thought Kevin Durant was never gonna be the same after that ACL injury.
Achilles,
sorry,
which is even worse.
The Achilles injury. Then he came back and gave us 50 in the playoffs. Then he gave us one of the most efficient seasons he had. Then this year
he's having an MVP caliber season after an Achilles injury.
No, after the Achilles. After Achilles injury, he's having the MVP season. So now it's
Achilles. Let me just tell you, Achilles injuries are the literal. That is what kills your career.
DeMarcus.
Obviously, like science has gone further and it's helped, but an Achilles injury
is still an Achilles injury.
It typically means it's over for you.
Right. And the way Kevin Durant bounced back to an MVP level player, his trajectory for me is the same trajectory as LeBron. I think it take him a minute for him to really slow down.
Yeah. And just as a note, like, sorry about the last pod, I feel like it was one of our, I'll be honest, like at least one of my worst performances, I'll say.
It was, but we saw history happen. So
that was a lot of us just being in awe.
You know what's crazy too? You know what's crazy? I watched other pods and they were doing the same thing. They were live. I was watching the other pods and they were live, and they were just waiting for that moment to LeBron to break it. They were just waiting. But back to the task at hand. For me, Suns get a 10 out of 10.
100%.
Let's get an 8 out of 10.
I'm gonna give Brooklyn a 6.5, which it's still good because 5 is like you did fine. 6.5 because like you traded Kevin Durant, you're never going to. It's Kevin Durant, but the return isn't bad. 6.5, 7.
I gotta give him an 8 just because what I've heard, Mikal Bridges, they were going to trade Mikal Bridges. A team offered 4 first-round picks for Mikal. So that at
And I
minimum,
think that could be there in the. Obviously, yes, the trade could age even better. But Mikal, I'm just looking at like that trade could be there in the offseason. I also don't know if that 4 picks was actually there. It could be agent talk.
right. I can see 2. I can see 2 for Mikal.
I could see 2.
I got a question. Now this
Yeah.
this 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 throws a question. Who do you think has more trade value or who's more tradable? I think you already think I was going with this one. Who has more trade value? OG Anunoby or Mikal?
You asked Twitter. Twitter, I feel like I don't want to say overrates OG Anunoby, but they do kind of. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad player at all because I think he's a great player. But Twitter acts like he's a star, which he's not as good as he is. I say OG Anunoby because I believe he's a couple years younger, and I don't remember his contract.
I think Mikal.
So. We take if we take contracts out of it, I'm gonna lean OG, but I don't remember what their contracts look like.
I know Mikal was 20. I know Mikal was 20 mil.
Yeah, but I'm wondering how many years left.
4 or 3. 4
or 3. OG and no.
I go Mikal just because I've seen it. I've seen Mikal do it on the big. I've seen Mikal do it in the playoffs and go to the finals off of it. And I also see Mikal 3-point shot. Mikal's 3-point shot is better. He's a better shooter, better scorer.
Yeah, actually, I am going to go with Mikal because he's also more reliable.
Thank you. Not as not injury prone at all. Actually, not injury prone at all. He's done it in the playoffs.
Okay, Mikal has next season and a player option.
Next season, so I said 3.
Not Mikal. OG has next season and a player option.
But
let me look up.
Mikal was more reliable for me. More consistent, more reliable.
Yeah, let me see. Mikal Bridges has up until 2025-26.
So 3 years. 3 years now. So 3.
Yeah,
so
3 years after this season. So yeah, 100% Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they had the same contract, I'd lean Mikal Bridges.
Mikal Bridges is just, again, the shooting, the free throw attempts.
Yeah.
The consistency.
I'm not trying to take away from OG Anunoby. And I don't want it to come across as that. Because I think OG is a great player.
We're not, but now what Masai Ujiri just did, just killed Mikal. No, he just killed OG Anunoby's trade value because Mikal is there and is better. Mikal is better and he's there. And teams were not.
I don't think it did a thing to anyone's either their trade. I don't think it did anything to OG's trade value. And we'll get on to the Raptors in a bit, but they weren't looking to sell anyway, just as a note. Anyway.
The next one, I think the next one.
Trade. Can we do Russ?
Yep, that's what I was going to say. Is the D-Lo and the. All right. This one
is a big one.
Go ahead.
May I just say, this was a 3-team trade between Utah, Minnesota, and the Lakers. The Lakers ended up with D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. Mike Conley, Minnesota ended up with Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and 2024, 25, and 26 second-round picks. Utah ended up with Russ and a 2027 first. That's top 4 protected from LA.
All right. I think I'll go first for this.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Initial thoughts. Go.
Initial thoughts. A balance for everybody. I don't
Yeah.
think nobody lost. Lakers.
Player for player, I do think that's a decent enough trade. Not even player for player. I think it's pretty balanced anyway. Keep going. I think I cut you off.
It's pretty balanced because Russ and D'Angelo Russell. Okay, and I'm gonna say I'm crazy because Laker fans and stuff like this. Russ and D'Angelo are not upgrades from each other. Now, what they are is what where D'Angelo Russell and Russell Westbrook is different is one is an upgrade from LeBron's play style. That's the
Yeah,
part where the upgrade is coming from. LeBron's play
definitely.
style. With Malik Beasley, good shooter, catch and shoot, movement shooter. Um, did a
Great
lot,
floor spacer.
good score, frustration. Vanderbilt is the thing that topped the straight off. Wow, wow, you just got and
Yeah.
that defense, small ball lineup.
I'm just gonna say I love Jared Vanderbilt. And, like I love his game. Um, I say that about so many guys, but I really like
Yes,
his game.
yes,
So the fact that so I'm just gonna say right away, Lakers got a 10. That is home run for me. They only gave up one of those picks and Ross, and they got a guy who's a much better fit in D'Angelo Russell, and I believe he's still an expiring contract. So if that goes wrong, oh well. They got Malik Beasley, who's a fantastic, not fantastic, but he's a good floor spacer. Jared Vanderbilt, who is a good defender, can
good,
finish some plays.
good rebounder offensively and defensively.
Yeah,
Good
and once
rebounder.
again, a really good versatile defender.
You gave him a 10.
I don't know how much better you can do when you give away Russ and a 2027 first.
I give him
This
a
top four
7.
protected.
I give him a 7.
Yeah, cool. I'm just interested. What? How much better how much more value do you think they can get out of those two assets?
We're only talking about those two assets.
Yeah, because that's all they gave away. They might have given away a second in there, but I don't think they did.
I'll tell you why I give it a 7 and like nothing higher.
You
Starting
give
off,
what?
I'll tell you why I give him a 7 and nothing higher. Starting
Yeah.
off, Vanderbilt for me made this trade from a 5 to a 7 because Vanderbilt for me is the best player getting back. Um, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Um,
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, he's going to make AD job a lot easier on the defensive end. AD
Oh,
doesn't have
but
to
yeah.
he doesn't have to do like small ball lineups. They're terrifying in now. Run protection, they're great in. LeBron doesn't have to guard the better wings in the league. Vanderbilt can do that. Help side defense, Vanderbilt does all that. And then he's still a lob threat and he crashes the offensive glass very well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
People overrate D'Angelo Russell for this point.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
People, okay, the fit next to LeBron, yes, of course it's better because D'Angelo Russell can shoot. He can shoot off the pick and roll. He can shoot off the pick and pop. Him and AD, the lob there is going to be nice. D'Angelo Russell is one of the better lob throwers in the league. Now because I've seen it done with Rudy Gobert. I've seen it done with athletic bigs. The reason why I don't give the reason why I say all that because the idea of Russell Westbrook is better than actual Russell. Not the idea of Russell Westbrook. The idea of D'Angelo Russell is better than actual D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah.
Um, he's an okay playmaker. His efficiency is eh, eh, when he's not the point guard, his efficiency is great. When he's not the point guard, it's great. You've seen it in Minnesota when Anthony Edwards was initiating the offense. When D'Angelo
Yeah.
Russell is a catch and shoot guy, a combo guard, and not the lead guard, it's great. He's going to be asked to
Mm-hmm.
do more combo guard things because LeBron's going to be the lead on lead point guard, the point forward there.
Lead
But
ball handler.
lead ball handler, yeah, lead ball handler. That defense, Vanderbilt is not starting. So your starting lineup, you were going to ask LeBron and AD to play hella defense or good defense because you gave away, because now your starting lineup is this. D'Angelo Russell, not a good defender.
Not good.
Malik Beasley or Austin Reeves, pick your poison. They're both, one is better than the other one, but it's shit versus dog shit, you know?
Okay.
Rui is not a good defender. He's just big.
Yeah.
He's not a good defender. LeBron, he tries on defense when he wants to, but we don't care about what LeBron is on defense because LeBron is going to give all that on offense.
Yeah.
AD is the only
okay.
real defender. And he's a rim.
Yeah. I disagree with some of that. Like I agree, like not Ross. D'Lo is not a good defender. He took some steps up last year and then quickly went back to where he was.
Question before you finish that. Did D'Angelo Russell really take a step, or was he just a great communication?
Good team defender, which is an improvement.
And
his ability didn't improve much.
He was talking, but besides that, like,
did it lead? No, it's not an ability thing, but it led to him
wins.
and it led to better defense. So,
okay, that's fair.
Anyway, you got either D'Lo, Malik Beasley, Malik Beasley or Austin Reeves, which
Malik Beasley is like no. Malik Beasley is like bad.
It's bad.
Like walk past, like you can walk past him and get a bucket. Like bad.
You got LeBron, which he's good, but he's not great. I actually do think now the whole thing about like him putting all of his effort in on offense, I don't think he's gonna have to as much anymore.
But his effort is always going to lead more offense than defense.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would like them to start Jared Vanderbilt. Yeah, the spacing might not be ideal, but it's better defensively than Rui Hachimura.
You don't start Jared Vanderbilt because you won't have a defender coming off the bench.
Mo Bamba, but yeah, that's fair. We'll get on to Mo Bamba later.
I can have LeBron being an okay defender, and then Rui being a below average defender, and then having an elite defender coming off the bench. And then when it's closing time, I know who's going to. Vanderbilt is going to be on the floor when it's closing time because of the defense. He's going to be on the floor when it's closing hour, so that's why you don't start him.
Okay, and that's fair.
And then, so you gave it a 10. I gave it a 7. We move on to Milwaukee. We move on to Minnesota. What they got back?
Minnesota got Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Juan Toscano Anderson, and Damian Jones. They're probably going to waive at least 2 of the last 3.
They're going to waive GTA and Damian Jones. Nickeil got
that makes sense.
Nickeil got a place and Mike Conley got a place. I'll give him a 5. I
give him a 5 or so. I think
they got the worst deal out of this.
They kind of did. I think they maybe could have got more out of D'Lo, but the thing is, I like Mike Conley's fit way more than D'Angelo Russell. Yes, Mike Conley's 35, probably fits the timeline a bit worse, but 1, he's a veteran presence. 2, he demands less of the ball. 3,
he's a floor general.
And 4, he's a better defender. Even though he's old, he's a better defender than D'Angelo Russell.
And now with a better floor general, when Cat comes back, that offense is going to look a lot better because you got a better floor general.
And he's a better off-ball player than D'Angelo Russell.
And he has reps with Rudy Gobert. So hey,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I give him a 5 or 6 because I had a Timberwolves fan like, what are we doing? I'm like, you need a veteran presence. You need some perimeter defense. You need someone who demands less of the ball. Yes, age is a thing, but
Can't get any better than that. You can't.
and D'Angelo Russell makes significantly more than Mike Conley. So you've also gotten off of D'Angelo Russell's contract.
And D'Angelo Russell was disgruntled already, so got rid of D'Angelo
A
Russell.
little bit.
And Nickeil Alexander-Walker, for what he is a good defender and a solid. He's a 3-and-D guard, less of the 3, more of the D.
He's one of those that's like.
Wait. Pause for that. Let me rephrase that because that was kind of sus the way I said that.
I'll be honest. He's with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. It is more of like the idea of him versus
what he actually is. But what he is a 6'5" defending guard who can catch and shoot a 3 ball.
Yeah, and he can get like 10 minutes a game, maybe.
I can see him getting 20.
Okay.
I'll give him 15. I'll give him 15 because
We'll see.
I feel like around that time. Real quick, did he play today? Just real quick, did he play today?
I have no idea.
Let me see real quick because
I know Conley played.
This is going to judge what I say. This is going to judge what I say about Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Nickeil Alexander-Walker did play. He played 2 minutes. So he did. Okay.
And I think he'll end up with more minutes. I think if injuries hit or something happens. Anyway.
The second round picks was underwhelming, but
whatever. I actually like that deal. I'm going 5.5 now. Utah. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not opposed to it, of course. Like, I don't hate it for them. Like, obviously, also, it puts them in a better position. It'll put them in better draft position by getting rid of Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley. But I feel like they could have gotten more out of specifically Jared Vanderbilt. I feel like they could have gotten more out of them. Now, obviously, they got in return Russell Westbrook, who 50-50 could get bought out, and they got that pick. So, obviously, like, if that's what happened, maybe the market wasn't as for D'Lo, not D'Lo, oh my God.
Vanderbilt.
Beasley and Vanderbilt weren't as big as I thought they were, if that's the return they got. But I don't know. I feel like they could. I'm going to give them a 5.
Wow.
I think they did okay here.
We are different. I give them an 8.
Okay.
They got a pick back. 1, that pick is very good. That pick is going to be very
That
good.
pick could very well be very valuable.
Number 2, they got Westbrook back.
Yeah.
Let me say this about Westbrook. Westbrook fits them, so it depends if Westbrook, because general manager of Utah just said, hey, if Westbrook wants to play here, he can. We're going to give him time to make his decision. It's all up to him. If he plays, they're a legit playoff team. Just because, hear me out. They didn't have any downhill like rim pressure. They didn't have rim pressure. Mike Conley's not a
That's fair.
Mike Conley's not a person who put pressure on the rim. They're both on the same level as playmaking, but Russ got shooters now. He got Laurie. He got Jordan Clarkson, who will shoot the pill off that ball. He got Laurie. He got Ron Kessler, who's a rim protector who can protect his rim. Protect the rim is a good lob threat. No AD, but he's a good lob threat. He also got he got a lot of people who will shoot the ball, and his playmaking will be like, oh, Russ was really not that bad. He was just a bad fit. That's what's going to come down to.
I agree with that completely. I just don't know. Like, my rating, I think they'll end up buying out Russ, I think. But, like, if they keep Russ, cool, I'll up it. But if they end up buying him out, then I'm like, I'll stick with my guns.
So if they up it, no, if they keep him, what would you give it?
Probably 6.5, 7,
If they don't, you said what?
5.
5? Ooh, that spacing is elite because you still got Jordan Clarkson, Laurie Markkinen, Kelly Olynyk who can shoot the ball, Laurie who can shoot the ball, Jordan Clarkson, OJ Abaji,
Yeah,
Colin
he can space the
Sexton,
floor.
Rudy Gobert. You got a lot of floor spacers over there for Russ.
Do you just say Rudy Gobert?
Rudy Gay, Rudy Gay, Rudy Gay,
Oh my God.
Rudy
I
Gay.
thought I heard Rudy Gobert.
No, Rudy Gay.
I was like, there's no way this man just said that.
No. You got Rudy Gay over there. So you got a lot of people who will shoot the ball and space the floor, and you got a rim protector and a lob threat.
Yeah.
Something that, guess what, the Lakers didn't have. They didn't have shooters and they didn't have a lob threat besides 80. So, like,
Yeah.
you know?
Anyway, I feel like these last two drag down a bit. I think these next ones will be quicker. One I just want to talk about real quick is, which we can talk about Toronto too. That'll be the last one that drags on a bit. We got where is it there? Jakob Pertl for Kem Birch and I believe it was a top 6 protected Toronto first from 2024.
In 2 seconds.
Yep.
This was a move for the Spurs trying to get Victor.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Can we just say it is a Victor Wembanyama move? Toronto, I don't know why you made this trade, honestly.
Yeah.
You got Precious Achiuwa, who's looking better and better every game he plays, and you still got Chris Boucher. This was more of a getting an asset and flipping it in the offseason or something like that than actual like, hey, he's gonna have us like a better. This was more of getting the asset and then flipping it deal for me.
That's fair. I mean, considering what Toronto is trying to do, they're trying to become competitive again. I don't hate it, but I'm also like, I don't like that they went to be buyers opposed to sellers because I don't know. Like Jakob Poeltl, he'll be fine. Whatever, but I don't think he doesn't push them to be a good playoff team.
They were not a
He's
playoff
not
team
the guy to push
before.
them over
They're
the
not a
edge.
play. He does not move the needle. He does not move
Yeah.
the needle. You have people who want it out. I feel like you should have been sellers more than buyers. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
That's that.
Raptors get like 5. Spurs.
I give the Raptors I'll give them a 5 because I'm just like, oh, I'm giving out a lot of. I'll go down to like 4.5. Fine. I just don't like the direction they're going in.
The Spurs, you get an 8 because you're trying to get Victor.
Yeah, Spurs get an 8. I like that. Where's one?
I got another one. Josh Hart to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Portland got Cam Reddish.
Cam Reddish and a 2023 lottery protected first,
and Ryan Acker. They got
which will most likely convey.
Right. Cam Reddish looks good in his debut, though. I can say that. He looked good in the Portland show, but it's his debut.
Hey. I didn't watch too much of it.
I watched it.
Let me have your take while I look at the box score, which of course doesn't say everything, but
how can I say this? Okay, Josh Hart, I love it for the Knicks. They just get a vet. And I get to see Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart back together.
The thing is also, he's not even really a vet. It's just like he's good trade.
Josh Hart is a vet. Josh Hart is a vet.
He's good. I wouldn't call him a vet, though. I think he's like 26.
That's considered vet. Do you consider Mikal Bridges a vet?
I wouldn't call him a vet.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair then. But Josh Hart brings what New York. I feel like it's the definition of New York. It's the definition of New York. He brings experience. He's a good player. Underrated rebounder. Still underrated rebounder. Underrated defender. him and Jalen Brunson is going to have some chemistry. They played before.
Yeah.
Now they're in a bigger role. This was more of just getting rid of Cam Reddish and getting something for him. Um, and then Cam gets a chance now to go to a team that needs wing depth, and they actually will play him. And they played him today, and he did solid. And you got to, if you're New York, you gave up a little bit too much for Josh Hart. If you're Portland, you're
Mm,
happy. You're happy. You're happy. If you're Portland, you're happy. They gave up a first. Even though it was going to convey most likely, they still gave up like draft capital. Like that's not great. It's like Cam Reddish. Definitely when you was asking for seconds. That's the problem. You was asking for seconds.
yeah.
Come on.
So let me just say real quick. So for the Knicks, I really like this move. It makes them more competitive. Um, I'm a big fan of this move. I really am. Um, once again, that video of Jalen Brunson figuring out that Josh Hart got traded there is really wholesome too.
It is. He was getting his jersey
Um,
retired from Villanova too, if I'm not wrong.
I don't know. I don't keep it up enough with like college basketball, like
He
stuff
was.
like
He
that.
definitely was. Because he was at Villanova and his jersey was even getting retired. His jersey was getting hung up. His jersey was getting hung up for sure. For sure it was. Yeah, it was because
Okay.
his family and stuff was there. Yep.
Okay. And then you got so New York, once again, I love this move. Um Josh Hart, I think, is a good fit. Um it can space the floor, good defender, can rebound well for a second. Kind of a jack of all trades. Um and then you gave away Cam Reddish, who you were looking to trade anyway. And you gave away a first, which, well, if it doesn't convey, then Portland gets their second round pick. But if it does convey, then it'll probably end up being like 18th to 20 something. If I'm not sure exactly,
Somewhere around that
but
range, yeah.
and you know what? I think I'm happier if I'm the Knicks and I really want to compete. I'm happier with getting Josh Hart. I think I'd get more value out of Josh Hart than that pick. Um,
Ah,
for Portland, I read this trade and I got really mad. I'm not even going to try to lie. I
why?
got really mad. Not because I don't believe in Cam Reddish, but because I still have a little bit of belief in him. But they've actively, in my opinion, obviously, you could tell of this by the fact that they got given a first in it. They actively got worse. They have Damian Lillard on his team dropping 40 every other night.
Okay.
Why? Why would you get worse when you have a player of Damian Lillard's caliber?
Ah,
Anthony Simons looks decent enough. Um,
they got
Jeremy Grant looks great. Why would you actively get worse?
I don't think they got worse.
They did.
Ah. Do you think Cam Reddish can do what Josh Hart does?
Best case scenario. Almost best case scenario.
I think that's like at average he can do what Josh Hart does.
I did. That's the thing. I completely disagree on that front because the one problem that a lot of people had with Cam Reddish, well, not a lot of people, but like coaches would have with Cam Reddish is that like he wasn't great with like just accepting he's going to be a role player. He wanted to take a lot of shots. Now, if he does finally accept that from Portland, then sure, maybe he can do a bit of what Josh Hart does. But I don't know how much I trust that to happen.
I trust it because I trust it to happen because it's not New York. It's not Julius Randle. He's playing in front of like I feel like when I'm playing in front of Dame, I know that damn, this is Dame's team. Like Dame is better than me, and it's not even close.
That's fair.
Um,
But the problem is also that happened with Trey Young.
Trey
That's
Young
why
was
they
they're
moved.
both were young though. They're both were young. They both
Yeah,
were young.
that's fair.
Uh, Dame is an established star MVP caliber player. Trey Young isn't that. Like he's an established star, but not MVP caliber. They both were young. Now he actually has a role that he has to play. If he gets started minutes, I feel like this is a dub if he gets started minutes because now
That's fair.
you get a good wing defender. The defense didn't drop off, by the way. Defense didn't drop
Yeah,
off.
no, it didn't.
His three
I
point
agree.
shot is they get a 3-and-D player, which they need. That's what we're complaining about. When they got to that bench, they didn't have nothing. Like when they went to the bench, they didn't have nothing.
Well, then it's 1-for-1. And then they did well. Let's get onto that after.
He said what?
I was about to say, well, with 'cause was he involved in it? Hold on, let me make sure because I don't remember.
And plus, Josh Hart, Josh Hart is not the 3-point shooter you think he is. Let's start right there. He's not. The
He's okay.
rebound, he's not
Oh,
even
he's not
not even
involved.
okay. He's not even
So I
okay.
can say this: they did get Matisse Thybulle too,
Yeah. And
and
like,
just
go ahead.
sorry. Actually, I'll get onto that trade in a second.
Josh Hart shot like 30% from three. So like if you like bad. Josh Hart is a bad 3-point shooter, honestly. But he's I ain't gonna say bad. He's average. He's average. I think Cam Reddish is above average at 3-point shooting. Like people always go fall in love with the idea of Cam because of 6'8" versatile wing who got some ball handling skills to him. You go fall in love with
Yeah,
that. But Cam is a 3-and-D guy. If he could be floor, if his floor can be Josh Hart, ceiling can be like a Mikal Bridges, W. He's still young. He's still like 22. He's 22 still. He came in the
but I
league
don't think
like
his
18-year-olds.
floor. I don't think his floor is Josh Hart. That's all.
I said if it can be. I'm not saying it is. If it can be,
Yeah,
like if the floor can change,
if you can do what Josh Hart does, then you just got
a younger Josh Hart.
another version of Josh Hart and a pick, so it's an absolute win. But I don't think that'll happen.
I think we under. Okay, that's fair.
Anyway,
The
um,
the next deal that happened was Mike Muscala and Justin Jackson, and
just by the way, this will be
uh,
quick. Um, love this for Boston. Get a stretch big. Cornette won't have to play as many minutes. Justin Jackson did not get minutes. 2 second rounders. Oh well. Um,
uh,
let's do Thomas Bryant for Davon Reed in 3 seconds. Can I go first, real quick?
yeah, you got it.
So first thing I thought was like, that's an awful trade. Why would LA do that? But then, of course, like more stuff came out. Like once AD came back and Thomas Bryant had a much more limited role, um, he he requested a trade, which is fair because he's not going to get that many minutes. And I think it's a terrible idea to play Thomas Bryant and AD a lot of minutes. Oh, sorry, at the same time. Not maybe not terrible, but I don't think it's a good idea. Um, and obviously that's not what was happening. They get Davon Reed, who's fine, and then 3 seconds, which is fine. Thomas Bryant, he was disgruntled. He didn't want to be there. That's fine. So I give it a 5 on both sides. It's fine.
I give
Actually, no, I give Denver like a 6 because I like that acquisition.
I give Denver a 6, the Lakers a 3. Why would you do that? Even if he is disgruntled behind Anthony Davis, guess who's going to be behind in Denver? Like And he's disgruntled. He's behind Anthony Davis. Thomas Bryant, you're going to Denver. You're going to be behind Jokic.
That's fair.
So like,
I'm like,
huh? You're going to be behind a better player, MVP
yeah,
player. It doesn't make sense. Like, doesn't you lose? You lose. You lose.
yeah,
At worst, you can say, "Hey, I'm about to get. Hey, y'all brought in Vanderbilt, so my minutes is gone.
yeah.
Okay, now you're going to be backing up Jokic, but again, they still got Aaron Gordon. So like, yeesh,
Yeah.
yeesh.
Also,
Next, go ahead.
quick note. This was on February 7th. Kessler Edwards went to Brooklyn. Sorry, Kessler Edwards went to Sacramento. I think he's got a career ahead of him. Like, he's fine. So
They got a
that's just.
defender. They got a defender. They got a defender.
I feel like he's better. He's fine. He won't get. He might get like 10 minutes, but you know what? I don't mind it. Um, One more, and then we'll talk about a trade that is in jeopardy of not going through. Real quick, 3-team trade. Jalen McDaniels goes to Philly. Matisse Thybulle goes to Portland, and Svi. I'm really
Svi Mikhailuk.
Mikhailuk. Thank you. I'm typically good at those names, but no. I I'm a soccer fan. I should know that, but here we are.
I didn't want to say it, but I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it. But go ahead. And then they got a multiple second round.
And then a couple seconds. Charlotte, I thought they maybe could have got more out of Jalen McDaniels, but his 3-point shot did start to fall a bit. So, all right. Matisse
Jalen is
Thybulle, they did that like pretty much as a Gary Payton II replacement. And Svi Mikhailuk, is that what you said?
Mikhailuk, yeah.
Slay. I didn't say that on a pod. Oh my god. Um anyway.
Oh man.
Anyway. Mikhailuk goes to Charlotte. He's probably gonna get waived. Alright. You got a couple seconds, okay. Philly, I like Jalen McDaniels, so I'll go 6. Portland, I'm joking. I was about to be petty and give them a 2, like just because I hate what they did, but whatever. I'm joking. I'll give Portland 5 or 5.5, whatever, and Charlotte 5. They're all just like, I like what Philly did.
It's just fillers for me. For me, that's fillers. Of course, Philly got the best thing out of it. Philly gets a 6. Portland gets a 6, and Charlotte gets like a 4-3. You really wasn't needed. You really got the worst player out of all of them, and
They did, but they got picks, and they were looking to move Jalen McDaniels.
Second, so I'm not tripping over. The next trade, the trade that might not go through. This one hurts because I went through staging of grief of this.
Oh, this was a lot for.
So
I'm not a fan of any of these teams, but I was sitting here like, oh my god, what just happened?
So, and I was going through stages. This Twitter was going through stages. So here we go. This is a lot. Detroit Pistons, Atlanta Hawks, Golden State, and Portland does a deal. Detroit receives James Wiseman. Atlanta receives Sadiq Bey. The Golden State Warriors receive Gary Payton II. And the Portland Trailblazers receive 5 second-round picks in Kevin Knox.
Spoiler alert, not the only time we see 5 second-round picks, which I'm just going to throw this out there. 5 second-round picks is just an objectively hilarious trade package. It's just a really funny trade package. Anyway.
Man. All right.
Let's go. What were your stages of grief? Because I'm interested.
I got this trade when I was driving, so it didn't make it better. So, The first stage was why? Why? Sadiq, why? We Wiseman was the best thing you got of Sadiq? That was my first initial reaction. Ain't no way we just got Wiseman for Sadiq. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Sadiq better than Wiseman. Clear. Like clear cut. We got 4 bigs already. I don't know why we do that trade. I don't know why we do that trade. Trash. Troy Weaver. I don't know. You looking kind of shaky. Then I heard Kevin Knox got thrown into the deal. So now we don't have a wing. Now you're making me even more mad, Troy. And then I heard that Gary Payton is going. I heard that we got the worst player out of all of them. We got the worst player out of all of them. We didn't get no pick back, no second, nothing like that, no draft capital at all. So right now I'm just having a bad. Then reports came out. This is why.
A certain James Edwards III article.
Man, and this saved Troy Weaver's butt for me. I trust in Troy now. I trust in Troy. I'm not going to say anything bad about Troy no more. Sadiq Bey was not Sadiq Bey as I thought he was. His value was shot. He wasn't the Sadiq Bey that I thought he was. But let's go into the trade, though. Detroit, I was about to give you a 1. Honestly, I was about to give y'all a 1. Don't get a 6 from me. Y'all get a 6, maybe 7. Atlanta, you get a 10. You gave up seconds. That's the only thing you gave up. And you can buy second-round picks. You can legit buy second-round picks. Give them cash considerations. You can get a second. Go to State. You get a 10 too. Go to State. You got a W out of this. They get a person who they wanted. They just didn't have enough money to re-sign last season. So they just said, okay, buy Wiseman. They got Wiseman for Gary Payton.
Yeah.
And Portland, you get like a 6, 7. You get a 7. You get higher than Detroit. You get a 7. You get 5 picks, and you get Kevin Knox, who's at worst 3-and-D. Go ahead.
Anyway, so let me do my quick thing. So obviously the report about Sadiq Bey happens. James Edwards III takes me from being completely down. What the hell did Detroit just do? Takes me up from that, but I'm still thinking, I still think this now. Sadiq Bey, I'm 100% sure they could have gotten more out of him than James Wiseman, who I haven't completely given up on, but I'm like, this is the second time you guys have taken a flyer on a second overall pick that's fallen out of favor with the fan base. Obviously Wiseman and Bagley have had different experiences and whatnot, and Wiseman has had more not more injuries, but less time to play and whatnot. But I still feel like you guys can get more out of that. I really do. Atlanta got Sadiq Bey, which absolute win. I really enjoy I really like that fit. Golden State gets Gary Payton. They wanted to re-sign him, but didn't want to get killed in luxury tax. Portland, 5 seconds, and Kevin Knox. So Portland gets a 5. Golden State gets a 6.5. Atlanta gets a 8.5. Detroit gets a 3 because you guys have so many bigs.
Oh Lord. Whoa, before we move on. Hold up. And I was thinking the same thing you was thinking too. I was thinking, how? Why? The reason why James Wiseman didn't work out with Golden State is because they were trying to win championships.
Yeah, I think that's playing a big part.
And for a younger big, definitely at his age, it's hard for a young big to get well in the NBA like get acclimated to NBA, knowing what to do the right way. It's even harder when your team's aspirations are championships. It's even harder when you're not mentally there because you're not getting the touches you thought you were going to get as a second round
Yeah.
pick. So I'm not totally out on James Wiseman. But I was like, I'm like, why would we do this? Oh my God, Troy, what are you? You're not cooking. You're not cooking like
And
you usually do.
yeah. And also, just as a note, Troy Weaver has historically been a big fan of James Wiseman. And I believe James Wiseman was at the top of Troy's board
Yep,
in that draft.
he was. And again, I think James Wiseman needs just to play and get reps under. He's been in the league for
I
what, 3
agree.
years? He only played 60 games, and that's because of injury. And the Warriors didn't need him because the Warriors are going for championships, not
Yeah.
trying to rebuild. And you see when they tried to rebuild, like you see their rebuilding pieces are not good anyways.
Yeah,
Besides
it's
Jordan
rough.
Poole,
Kuminga's shown flashes, but
Anthony Lamb is better than Kuminga at this point, for real, for real. Anthony
I mean,
Lamb is getting
Anthony
more
Lamb, I feel like is
opportunities.
underrated in general, but yeah.
But like you said, nothing crazy, nothing ground shaking, but I had to.
But what was when I read this a couple hours ago, I started laughing my butt off.
You wanted to say
And
something else.
it also shows how incompetent Portland is, because they had, just as a quick apology, I just looked at the clock. We've probably been on for like a bit more than an hour. But hey, this one's going to be longer, but the last one was only like an hour, which is shorter than we normally do. And it wasn't great quality, so hey, we're trying to make up for it.
Yeah.
Totally our mindset here, not just that
We just spent a lot
so
of time
much
talking,
happened. Anyway, Gary Payton II failed his physical.
Yep.
Because of an abdominal injury that apparently he's been playing through, and Portland health staff encouraged him to play through. He would be if the trade still goes through, Gary Payton is out for 3 months.
No, basically playoff time for them.
When Shams, where are you? I don't remember how long they have Golden State has to decide on how.
I think a week. It's either 72
have until
or a week.
Saturday, which is today.
Yeah.
Wow. So that trade might get voided.
Yeah.
So I tweeted immediately, wow, Troy Weaver might get okay, I will respond to these. I'll respond to my tweets later. Anyway. I tweeted immediately that Troy Weaver might get bailed out, but I'm just like, I feel in my head it still is. I know, like, of course they read the thing, but I think I'm not out on James Wiseman, but I'm like, I hated that for you guys. I really did. So anyway, and the fact that the health people are going to get fired over this, 100%.
I don't think so.
In Portland,
no.
Health officials are going to get fired.
But
they wanted him to play through what showed to be a pretty.
They did the same thing with Detroit with Bol and Rodney Magruder. They did the same thing.
Yeah. Bol had injury issues for a lot of time. That wasn't because he was being forced to play through them.
No.
Detroit just has.
Nobody's gonna get fired.
But I don't want to call this bad luck because I really didn't like that trade.
Nobody's gonna get fired, bro. You thinking too deep into it. Your mind's thinking too deep into it.
I'm saying some team doctors are gonna get in some trouble for that.
All right. But we move on.
So that trade we will figure out pretty soon.
Oh shit! Oh, let's fail.
We will see. We don't have a crazy amount of like notable ones to go through, and yeah, we're almost done.
Yeah.
Next, we got Patrick Beverley in a second to Orlando, and Mo Bamba to the Lakers.
Mo Bamba, Lakers center backup replaces Thomas Bryant. 7. Orlando. I give him a 3, just because Patrick Beverley is going to get brought out. He's going to get brought out. And
you're kind of rushing through these. I can't lie. We don't have to rush as much.
Doesn't mean. I just don't. I'm not trying to rush through it. This one I just don't understand at all why Orlando would do it, like at all.
I don't understand it for Orlando. I get it for the Lakers, and also I think Mo Bamba and AD can actually play some minutes together. Just because Mo Bamba's like can actually move.
Okay, his hip mobility is solid. Yeah,
Yeah. And Pat Bev is going to get bought out in a second for Mo Bamba. I don't like it all. Mo Bamba, yes, it's on like 2 attempts a game, but I think he's shooting 40% from 3.
Right.
So,
and like you could have got better from Mo.
Yeah.
And like not even better. Like you're really just got a second. Like that's all you got.
Yeah.
That's all you got. That's all you got.
Really?
Put in perspective, Cam Reddish got you a first. Cam Reddish got you
a singular second. We saw
5,
so many
4,
guys
3.
go for a bunch of seconds. A singular second round pick. Now, LA, I don't remember how many they really had left, but because I think they gave up 3 in the Rui Hachimura trade.
At that point, you don't do the deal.
Yeah.
For Orlando, because
I don't like that for Orlando, but honestly, I don't care that much because Mo Bamba wasn't getting many minutes anyway.
Right.
Next, we got Mason Plumlee to the Clippers and Reggie Jackson in a second to Charlotte.
You go ahead.
Charlotte just... What is that? What was that? Mason Plumlee is actually having a good season. As much as we all like to laugh at him, he was actually having a good season. And he got traded to the Clippers, who gave them Reggie Jackson, who's probably going to get bought out, and a way future second. Really? So LA.
I think this is a good trade for both.
I like this for LA.
I like this
for the Clippers because they needed a backup center. They really did. I know it's the most replaceable position in sports, but
he could probably start. I doubt he will, but now he's interchangeable. Now you got 2 bigs you can rely on now. Now you got 2 bigs you can rely on in the playoffs. Why I like this for Charlotte? It's not because it's a trade. It's because now you have to play your backup big. The backup big you had, now you got to play. So you get to see more Mark Williams. You get to see JT Thornton. You get to see Nick Richards. You get to see these bigs that they accumulated and just not sitting anymore.
That's a fair point, but I still think a singular second for 1 second.
Out of all the seconds got moved, you get 1. You get 1.
And I say only 1 second because Reggie Jackson is going to get bought out.
Yeah. Again, it's the same thing with the Lakers and both LA teams finessed. This trade deadline, they both finessed. They didn't have to give up a lot. They both, and that trade is basically the same from the Lakers and the Clippers. Basically had the same trade. They got a big man for a guard who both smart because he's going to get bought up by both teams, and they both just gave him a second round pick. So they both literally just had the same trade, just different players, like different names. But like Clippers 7 and
Anyway,
a half, Charlotte a 4, just because of
yeah,
the
I agree. The only upside for Charlotte is that now we get to see Mark Williams more.
yeah. You can see the backup bigs play. But,
Yeah.
ooh, the next one. Go ahead.
Next one, which third to last one or fourth to last one. This is, and I think this is the biggest trade. And the rest of these. We had Luke Kennard going to Memphis. Eric Gordon in 3 seconds. See what I mean? Going to the Clippers. And John with this was hilarious. To Houston, John Wall, Danny Green, and a 2023 first round pick swap, which just for the record is not going to do a single thing because Houston is the worst team in basketball.
I feel bad for John Wall. He
Me
came
too.
by a break.
I read that and that hurt.
He just came off of saying, "Why would I want to play in Houston?" and goes right back to Houston. And they said we have no plans of buying him out either. Oh,
Houston?
yes,
No way.
yes.
He went on that slander campaign, which just for the record is completely valid. And said, nah.
And Houston said, "We're playing reverse. We're gonna skip you. We don't care. You're on the team. You're not getting brought out." Feel bad for James. For John Wall. But let's get on to it.
I hope he does end up getting bought out, though.
I really do. I like Danny Green for him. They get a vet.
Although Danny Green, there's reports that he might get bought out, which I'm like, it would hurt. What was annoying for me about that was just that Danny Green was obviously like really excited to play with Memphis. So I was just like, damn.
You know what's funny too? You know what makes it funny too? Brian, I forgot his last name. Reporter, ESPN reporter. Brian, start with a W, something like that.
Yeah. Brian Wright?
No, not Brian White.
I don't remember his name.
Let's go, Brian.
Anyway, go ahead.
But he was on the interview. Him and Danny Green were both on, I think, an ESPN show. I forgot which one it is. I don't watch ESPN because that's a whole different thing. But it was funny because they said the Grizzlies really like what they have. And this is when Danny Green was hurt. I'll send you the link, but this is when Danny Green was hurt. And they said Grizzlies really like they have their core and their vets, but it's kind of a move that they can make. And sorry, Danny Green, to say this, but they're looking to move you. And it was hilarious because it was on TV. And Danny Green was like, I don't know. I just like my team. And he said, I would like to be here for the foreseeable future. He gets shipped off right at trade deadline. Like, that's kind of funny. But the Clippers in this deal get a 3-and-D vet, accumulate draft capital in the 3 second-round picks. Again, 3. While the other 2 teams got 1, but 3 second-round picks. And Memphis got a shooter that they need, so Dillon Brooks doesn't take those 3-point shots, and is actually Luke Kennard, and instead of Dillon Brooks and Salsa, Altama. I forgot his name too.
Santi Aldama?
Yes, instead of him, it's Luke Kennard taking them shots. And Luke Kennard, he'll be able to fit there because he'd be hitting on defense. And his 3-point shooting will help them because of Josh floor spacing.
Yeah. I like Luke Kennard. Sorry. I like Luke Kennard on that team. Floor spacer. What is defense, but you can deal with that for 10 minutes a game. Eric Gordon to the Clippers, I think, is fine, and they get 3 seconds. Houston, I hope Danny Green could stay. I would like that veteran presence. For the love of God, please tell me John Wall gets bought out, and that pick swap is literally going to do nothing. So, excuse me.
Crazy. Um,
So, I would give Houston a. I'm gonna be petty because apparently, according to like what you said earlier, um, John Wall's not getting bought out. So just to be petty, I'm gonna give them a 0.
let's go.
Um,
Let's go. Let's go.
just to be petty. Um, LA Clippers, I give them a 6. Eric Gordon's cool. They're looking to move on from Luke Kennard anyway, and same with John Wall. And 3 seconds, you can do something with it. And then Luke Kennard for Memphis,
4.
I give him a 6 also.
Okay. I like that. For me, I give Memphis a 4. Eric Gordon, the
That's
Clippers, I
fair.
give them a 7. And the Houston, I'm not going to be petty. This is just me. I'm not even being petty. I'll give you a 1. Um, yeah, Houston.
Well, they were looking to move on from Eric Gordon, but
Don't care. I don't care. Y'all not buying out John Wall? Screw y'all. Um,
yeah.
the next one is pretty simple. Josh Richardson and Devontae Graham gets traded for each other, and then San Antonio
Mhm.
gets 4 second
So
round picks.
New Orleans gets Josh Richardson, San Antonio gets Devontae Graham in 4 seconds. 4 of them.
Not one.
Um,
Boy, those boy.
I like this for San Antonio. Josh Richardson, you get a lot of seconds for him. You never know what they'll be. And Devontae Graham just went off.
31.
So
Also in the Spurs debut, 31. I like this
he
for go ahead.
and then New Orleans, I feel like this gives them a more reliable 2 guard. Like someone who can actually like consistently hit, not even consistently, but like he hits his threes better than Herb Jones. I'm a big fan of Herb Jones, but sometimes he's frustrating because he cannot hit a shot.
I and me and you on the same page. They get a backup shooting guard who is a 3-and-D shooting guard, just
Yeah,
a worse defender than Herb, but a better shooter than Herb. So you
yeah,
want to play
exactly.
him because if he's a little bit worse than Herb on defense and a lot better shooter in the offense, you're going to play him. So you get a playable shooting guard now. Your defense get a little bit buffed up now. Um, and San Antonio, you get a backup point guard for Trey Jones. I like it, and you get the picks, of course. But you get a
Yeah,
backup point guard for now.
and he got some picks. Cool,
I think it's
and it'll help him tank.
yeah for Victor.
Hell yeah. So San Antonio, I'm gonna give a 6. New Orleans, same deal. I like it for both of them.
I agree with that. Me and you agree for that.
Yeah.
Both ratings.
2 more.
2 more.
We got
Oh my god.
Dario Saric and a second to OKC and Darius Baisley to Phoenix.
Phoenix just won this trade deadline. Oh my god. Oh my god. I forgot they got
I
Darius
feel like
Bazley.
it's really sideways.
That's one way. What way do you think it is?
I did Dario Saric, like he's a worse shooter, but he's a better facilitator. Darius Baisley's I mean, it's fine. I'd like it for Phoenix.
Phoenix clears. They got a bench. They got a bench. I forgot about the Darius Bazley.
Me too. I mean, Dario Saric is all right, but yeah, honestly, he'll get like 10, 15 minutes a game off the bench.
I,
It's kind of
Darius
just a whatever trade for me.
for me,
I do like that
it's
Darius
more than that.
Baisley will actually be able to get minutes somewhere
He's a
else
good
because he
defender.
was not getting minutes anymore in OKC, which I think that's an alarm bell. But Hopefully something else
But he's a
happens.
good defender and a solid 3-point shooter. They just got another 3-and-D on the bench for Phoenix. I totally forgot about this. Yeesh.
Me too.
Actually, now, you can continue talking. I want to see something real quick.
Okay. I don't have much to say. This is like the worst trade for you to go see something because
this is the worst trade for me. I just want to see what Darius Baisley was doing. Because if he was
yeah,
doing what I think he was,
I'll be honest. I've barely seen him play. Like I've kept up a lot with OKC mainly because of Shea, but
okay, right. I just need the 3-point percentage. I just need the 3-point percentage, bro. Oh, okay,
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 okay.
okay.
What's going on?
Um, Suns won
Okay,
6-9 forward. And you can call me a casual right now. Sorry, I don't watch for just Darius Baisley games. Um, and the games that he played 36 games. Um, took 5 shots a game, 44% from the field. Cool.
fine,
2 threes a game, 40% from three. Cool.
nice.
His defense is his calling card. His defense is he's a 3-and-D. He's a 3-and-D.
Yeah,
Um,
he's all right.
he averaged a
So
steal and almost a block a game off the bench. Like,
I mean, okay. Thank you for informing me of that. Of course, box scores aren't everything. Um,
but
but
for
I
the
actually thank you for telling me that now because actually, never mind. No, Phoenix gets like a 6.5, 7 for me, and OKC. Darius Baisley stopped getting minutes a while ago, so at least they got a second for him. But I'll give him like a 4 something. Dario Saric, I have no idea what's gonna happen with him. I feel like they'll
and
buy
isn't
him
he
out.
still injured?
No, he just
No.
started playing again.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. In our last trade of the night, and probably end of the pod. This is the last trade.
Yeah, it is 1:13, and I've been up. Oh, it's been a long night for me.
I gotta get up in
um,
like 4 hours, so I feel that.
oh Jesus Christ! I have
I'm
to
a,
wake up at 9 to watch Arsenal, but that's not even that bad.
I'm a dog.
Any to Atlanta, Garrison Matthews and Bruno Fernando. To Houston, Justin Holiday and Frank Kaminsky, sorry.
Houston, they got another defender. Houston. Houston got another defender, and they got a
Justin
big man.
Holiday, I feel like isn't that good of a defender. He's a
He's
better
solid.
floor spacer, but
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. I feel like Justin Holiday.
I like the Frank Kaminsky more than Justin Holiday.
Me too.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Justin Holiday, I feel like is just. I don't know how much he'll play. I actually hope he doesn't play too much because they have so many guards. Fun fact: a week ago, was it last Sunday or Saturday? Ty Washington dropped 20. Why did no one tell me about this? Um,
Because it's
anyway,
Houston. But
anyway, uh,
Houston gets a backup
Garrison,
big.
yeah, Houston, Justin Holiday is another guard in way too many that Houston has. And Atlanta got Garrison Matthews, Bruno Fernando. I don't think either of them will see the floor. Maybe Garrison Matthews will, but eh.
No, he won't. He won't. I can tell you that right
So
now. He won't.
Atlanta will give a 4 or 3,
Nope.
but that's really just because Atlanta didn't really lose anything
That was
because
more of a
neither
salary
Justin
thing.
Holiday nor Frank Kaminsky got minutes.
Frank
For
Kaminsky, did he
sorry,
not?
go ahead.
Did he not get minutes? He didn't. He didn't. He sure didn't.
No,
Frank Kaminsky is just a backup big for Minnesota, for not Minnesota, but for Houston.
yeah. And Justin Holiday, I hope doesn't get that many minutes, just because I want to see their guards get play.
He won't. He won't get that many minutes. I feel like this is a salary. I don't know how much they're making. I don't know, and I'm not gonna look up that because
I think it was a salary dump
it was a
because Frank
salary dump.
Kaminsky was. Yeah, that might have been a salary dump. I'm not sure. We should know this, but you know what? It's
We
okay.
should, but it's not the biggest thing, so I'm
It's
not
not a
upset.
big trade. Let's
Um,
be real.
right. So if it's a salary dump, W for the Atlanta Hawks because if you're going to resign Bay, you need the salary to do it. So W for the Atlanta Hawks, and plus you're putting pressure on DeAndre Hunter to get better. And also, and also,
Okay.
if you Houston, you just get a backup. That's all you need.
Yeah, not bad. And 50-50, they also got Sadiq Bey, so he's another small forward, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. But
Anyway,
that was the pod. It was this
that was
straight
the end of
down.
the podcast. That ran really long. Probably like an hour and a half though, actually. I thought it'd be worse than that when I pointed it out earlier. I thought it'd be worse than that.
Usually
Anyway,
trade deadlines are long though. Usually trade deadline podcasts are long
yeah.
if you watch it.
Next pod will probably be our draft pod.
Yes.
I don't know. We'll have to talk about more how we do it, but I'm excited for that.
Wait, what way? Draft pod as in what?
That's the thing. Like we could talk about prospects. We could do like a
Listen, guys, if
if
this
you
is a draft pod, I might bring like two people on this thing, and we can actually have a real draft. Let
if
me
you
go ahead, Alex.
that'd be cool. That's
Hmm.
a good idea.
I can get some. I know some people who are. I thought I knew the draft. Oh, we know.
I don't know well the thing is I don't feel like I know the draft
You
well
do.
enough.
You do. You do. Trust me, you do.
I know like 20 guys.
You know the draft well enough. Then you know the draft well enough.
No,
Because
I
those.
don't.
No. Hear me out. Because those 20 guys is the same type of 20 guys you'll see in the second round, just different names, and that's legit. Like it's so many. This draft is just wing heavy, and I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it. This draft is wing heavy, and all the wings can basically do the same thing. So you're not missing them.
If you get like one person on and we do a draft, and like if we all draft like 10 guys each, I think I'd be able to do that. But if we do like four of us, 10 guys each, I will not be able to keep up.
Okay,
We'll talk about
we'll
more.
talk about off spot. But
We'll talk about.
close us out, boss.
Yep. Thank you so much for listening to the Game Time Review podcast. Feel free to rate 5 stars or leave a like on YouTube. Subscribe or follow. Share if you're feeling generous. I forget how I normally close these out.
You're good. You good. You on the same. You good,
Yeah.
boss. All our links will be in the description below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the links, Twitter, my writing, Dan's Twitter. Anyway. Dude, I'm so tired, dude. I've been up since 6.
I've been up since 8, so I can't say nothing.
It's been rough.
But
Anyway.
this has been another episode of GTR Podcast. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for listening. If you've made it this far.
You're a real one.
Peace out.
Peace out.